It may be the most addictive toy in history, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas. Nintendo video games.
You know, it's not even Halloween yet, but millions of kids already know what they want for Christmas, a new video game system called Nintendo 64.
It's just a little over an hour before the launch of Nintendo's highly anticipated Wii. We're standing here in the middle of Times Square, and I gotta tell you, the crowd is absolutely crazy.
Nintendo is having a strong start in sales this year with the launch of that Switch console, its newest gaming device.
Nintendo is a name that has come up in the video game world time and time again. They're responsible for some of the most successful video game franchises ever, like Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda, as well as widely popular consoles like the Wii. Nintendo faces a lot more competition in the current day from Sony and Microsoft, but in my opinion, Nintendo still remains as the most iconic video game company. There are three main reasons that put them in a higher league than any other company, and that is Nintendo's long history, their game design philosophies, and their widely renowned video games. Nintendo has been making video games as early as 1975 with EVR rays, and released their own series of consoles as the Color TV game series, starting in 1977. However, it wasn't until the mid-80s when the Nintendo Entertainment System launched that they would find mainstream success. Ever since, Nintendo has produced various handheld and home consoles and hundreds of video games exclusively for their own systems. Contrast this with Sony and Microsoft, which got started with the PlayStation and Xbox consoles in 1994 and 2001 respectively. Now, it's misleading to say that Nintendo is older than Sony and Microsoft just because Nintendo made video games before them. Microsoft was founded in 1975, and Sony began all the way back in 1946. What about Nintendo? Well, they were founded in 1889.
Mamma mia!
From selling Hanafuda cards to traditional toys, Nintendo was around for a while and experimented with different ideas to see what was successful and what wasn't. The vast amount of time that Nintendo spent in business has undoubtedly given them some insight into why certain things are successful and why some aren't. The experience they gained from success and failure has informed a lot of their philosophies and how they make games. With their experience, Nintendo has formed a pretty unique design ethic when it comes to their video games. Obviously, this varies a bit between individual designers, but nearly every game Nintendo publishes at the end of the day is made with a certain process in mind. Make it fun.
If it's not fun, why bother?
Now, this seems like the most obvious thing in the world, right? Video games are meant to be fun. That's why people play them. Well, yeah, it's pretty simple from a consumer standpoint, but company and consumer interests don't always align, even in the video game market. At the end of the day, profits have to be made. Many games nowadays will include microtransactions, season passes, pre-order bonuses, and other forms of trying to squeeze more money out of consumers. Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar company, but its game designers are not focused on profits first. Shigeru Miyamoto, the designer behind Mario and many other classic video games, has talked about why Nintendo tries to innovate with their consoles and video games rather than go for the most successful option. If you make something for the sake of selling, then it'll have all kinds of failures. The most important thing is to make something you believe is fun, rather than something that would sell. If you try making something that sells, it eventually ends up becoming like something that's already out there. If what you make looks like something that might already be out there, then it won't sell well. That's why Nintendo makes things that have yet to be seen. Taking risks to find fun ideas has always been a focal point of Nintendo's video games. This philosophy has no doubt shaped why Nintendo has maintained relevance until even today. They've never been interested in what the market says is successful, instead always trying to push things forward in exciting directions.
こうなってるからこうなんですって僕は割と嫌いなんですね。僕らはどうしたいのかと分かんない。
This philosophy has informed design decisions for nearly all of their video games, which may be a key factor in many of their successes. From the original Super Mario Bros. And Legend of Zelda to Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, Nintendo has maintained a lot of success when it comes to video games. As of the end of 2021, Nintendo has sold about 5.3 billion video games across all of their handheld and home consoles since the NES. For reference, the best-selling video game of all time, Minecraft, sold over 238 million copies as of April of last year. It's not just about quantity either, as Nintendo has had remarkably consistent quality within many of their games. For those unfamiliar, the website Metacritic aggregates professional and user-submitted review scores for all types of media, such as movies, albums, and video games. On Metacritic, the top 15 rated video games of all time, not including console versions of the same game, consists of 6 Nintendo games. At the very top of the list is Nintendo's very own The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, with an aggregate score of 99. Not only that, but games like Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey were released only 5 years ago. Nintendo clearly has made a big enough impact with video game players to warrant some of the best review scores of all time. Their critically acclaimed video games are possibly the most essential reason as to why Nintendo is still relevant. At the end of the day, fun video games are what gamers care about most.
The game is fun.
So why is Nintendo such an iconic video game company? Well, their extended experience has given them insight into how to have a successful business. That insight formed many of their design philosophies and gave them a unique perspective on the game-making process. These design ethics helped lead the creation of many critically acclaimed and commercially successful video games, being released from the 80s to the current day. Simply put, Nintendo puts the fun first. And fun is what video games always should be.